Hey guys, welcome to my Duchess. This is going to be the quick 5-minute revision of the poem. As always, there was a longer version uploaded later this week, so if you have a bit more time, then I recommend jumping over there. If not, we're going to jump straight in because this is an absolute mammoth of a poem, so we need as much time as possible on it. Okay guys, so My Last Duchess was written by Robert Browning, and a super rough overview is that a duke shows his guest a painting of his former wife. She was nicer to everybody else than she was to him, and he hints that he may have killed her. So we see a lot of flaws in the duke's personality, and that includes like jealousy and insecurities. Then we find out that the guest is here to fix his next marriage. So in terms of context, it's based on Duke Alfonso II, who ruled Ferrara, which is a place in Italy, and his wife died under suspicious circumstances after getting married. Of course, within the poem, it's implied that, he may actually have been the result of her death due to his insecurities and his jealousy. So in terms of his structure, it's written as a dramatic monologue, which kind of demonstrates his power, as he does not share the floor when he's talking. Like, he's talking at a guest rather than to the guest. It also has an iambic pentameter, which is similar to a conversation, even though he's the one who talks entirely. And then finally, in terms of theme, we definitely explore the power of man. We see his jealousy, his arrogance, and his pride, and we see these over his his possessions, and also like the kind of status that he has as a man, as a duke, and as a husband. Hey guys, so this is actually the poem. So if you haven't actually ever read it, I want you to take a minute, pause it, go through it, see what you get, and really remember like what kind of tone you have. And then we're going to jump straight into the analysis. Also, as always, the structure is exactly the same as the longer version, so if you have time, definitely take a second, pause the screen, read around it, and then if not, I'm going to show you exactly like the key quotes to get the gist of the poem. Okay, so the first one is, Sir, 'twas not her husband's presence only called that spot of joy into the Duchess's cheek. What he's basically doing is using a metaphor here to suggest that, not only was it the presence of him as her husband that made her happy, but it was also like the presence of other men who could invoke the same kind of feeling and emotions. So this is like the first time that he almost implies that she may not have been faithful, like, and it almost as if her gaze was kind of wondering, and this is definitely shown again throughout the poem. So this is definitely shown again through the lines, how shall I say, too soon made glad, too easily impressed, she liked whatever she looked on, and her looks were everywhere. So first of all, with how shall I say, the use of punctuation here demonstrates his fake modesty, as he's trying to show that he's a better person than he actually is. However, look at the use of the repetition, too soon made glad, too easily impressed. Here he's kind of implying that she was too easily impressed by others, and kind of suggests that she was unfaithful, because he's saying that, she was happy with whatever she saw, and she looked everywhere. So he's kind of saying that she almost had like a wandering eye. So what's really important to remember here is that we're seeing this from the Duke's perspective, and of course he is speaking out of emotion, and it is his almost jealousy that's kind of like warped his perception. So we can't imply that this was actual reality, because we can't see from her perspective. So we see more of this and more of his insecurities through the lines, or blush at least. So at this point he's also speaking about the attention that she received, but the use of blush almost symbolizes a more flirtatious nature. So he's suggesting that not only did she receive this attention, but she also almost looked for it, with like, her looks were everywhere, but also like she enjoyed it with the idea that she blushed and the fact that she was quite bashful. His jealousy is also again shown with my gift of a 900 years old name with anybody's gift. So the gift that he's referring to, the one that he gave, was the gift of like marriage. The fact that after she married him, she received his name. However, we know he's quite prideful of it, and we know to him his status is very important. But he's almost jealous because he's saying that she regarded it with the same kind of level of care as she would have with anybody else's gift. So he's almost like kind of jealous and insecure that she didn't regard it in the same way. She may not have been as grateful. The final really important quote is he's kind of like his jealousy and everything kind of coming together, and he kind of implies what may have happened to her. So he says, I gave commands and the smile stopped altogether. So here, him giving the commands demonstrates his abuse of power as a man, a husband, and as a duke as well. But also look at the use of the term, then all smiles stop together. It's almost like him abusing his power kind of took the joy out of her. But also the use of together kind of, almost demonstrates that there was a finality to it. So it may have suggested that he may have actually been the end to her demise. The poem also ends with him talking about his actual art collection. So it shows in the end, regardless of what happened, even though he supports such massive topics, the only thing that was really important to him is his material possessions and the things that he has. Okay guys, so that was a super quick revision of My Last Duchess. There is definitely a lot more to explore in this poem, even though it's quite big. It's very interesting, so if you have time, check out my other video. If not, then definitely pause, look at like the kind of annotations I've left around it, because you'll get more information from them too. And yeah guys, I'll speak to you soon.